Let's have a look at our travel words. We're going to start off with the word for festival, matsuri. Japanese people love their matsuri, and you can find matsuri being held during all the seasons all over the country. This is a taste of what some of those are like. This is the Jidai Matsuri in Kyoto, and that's where they dress up as people from ancient times, from the samurai period. Here's an example of the sort of dancing that you might find at a Japanese matsuri. More parading in ancient costume. Here's someone dressed as a samurai ready to go into battle. That's Japanese matsuri. Okay, now the word for a trip. We've got a noun here, ryoko. Here's the words written in here, hiragana, ryoko. And to turn that into a verb, to travel, you take the word for a trip, ryoko, and you add shimasu. That's one of those common noun plus shimasu combinations. Ryoko shimasu, to travel. Next, we've got sightseeing. To go sightseeing is kankou shimasu. Kankou shimasu. To take a photo, you need the word for photo, shashin. There's shashin. Over here in hiragana, shashin. And the verb that we use with shashin is torimasu, to take. Shashin o torimasu, to take a photo. Next, we have something that's also very common in Japan, kazan. Kazan, and that's a volcano. Look, it's a fire mountain. And let's have a look at the picture of an exploding kazan in Japan. Here's an actual picture of a volcano in Sakura, southern Japan. There it is, actually exploding. And that's kazan. Kazan. Now, there are many active volcanoes in Japan, so it's quite common that you'll be in a city near an active volcano and it will explode or erupt and the town will be covered in ash. So there we have kazan. Next we have river, kawa. There's the kanji, and there's the hiragana, kawa. Japanese rivers or kawa tend to be quite short because they go from the mountains right in the middle of the island and quickly down to the sea, particularly after the snow melts in spring. They're quite ferocious, and all the snow melts down to the sea, and then for the rest of the year they tend to be quite dry, kawa. Next we have rice paddy. Of course, rice is the staple food in Japan, so they grow a lot of it in Japan. It's called tambo, and it's no coincidence that that kanji there is just a grid shape, because when I show you a picture of a rice paddy, tambo, you'll see why that is literally just a pictograph. Here's a picture of a Japanese rice paddy. You can see the square shape, that's where you get that character from. You might also notice too that these fields are flooded because the tiny Japanese rice seedlings are planted in a flooded field, and then as it grows bigger, then the water disappears and it looks like this. There's the rice crop as it grows up, and you can see the water has disappeared. These days, parts of Japan like to have fun with their rice crops, and they plant different coloured rice plants, and they come up with some quite amazing pictures which are all made of rice. Here's one example. There's a samurai on his horse. Now those are rice paddies. You can even see a little bit of water in there still, and those are just different varieties of rice plants growing to give them those different colours. I'll show you one more. There's another one again. It's people from the olden days dressed in samurai type outfits, and there they are, and there's even some kanji in that field. Next we have the word for scenery, keshiki. Keshiki, a guidebook, guidebook. And then we have up here a gift or souvenir. Now traditionally in Japan, if you make a trip somewhere, even if it's not very far away, you should really buy something from that location, whether it's food or some crafty type thing, and bring it back for people either in your family or where you work. And they call that an omiyage. Omiyage, omiyage. Next we have cherry blossom. That's the Japanese national flower, and that's called Sakura. Actually, Sakura refers to the cherry, And when you include the blossom, you have to add the word for flower, which is hana. So you actually get Sakura no hana. That's Sakura, that's cherry. And I'll show you a picture of beautiful cherry blossoms in a moment, because we're going to have a look at the next concept, flower viewing. Here's the kanji for flower, and see, hanami, hanami. Now, it's strange to have an actual word flower viewing, but when the blossom comes out in Japan in spring, then it's traditional for groups of people to go out under the cherry blossoms, spread out some kind of plastic mat, some kind of, in the olden days, of course, it would have been made probably of reeds, and after taking their shoes off, sitting on that mat, and whilst eating and drinking, enjoying the beautiful keshiki, or scenery. Let's have a look at a typical scene. And there we have beautiful Sakura no hana, and underneath there are the groups of people enjoying hanami and having lots to drink and eat. Next, this is how we say before something. Now this thing has to be a noun, so for example before school. So you will put the noun first where the asterisk goes and add no mae ni. Mae meaning before, or if it's a location sentence then it would mean in front of, but in this case it's a time thing, so before. Something no mae ni. There it is in hiragana, something no mae ni. And here you could put, for example, gakko no mae ni, before school. And here we've got after. And again, if we were to put school there or any other noun, it would be gakko no ato de. And there it is in hiragana, no ato de, after a noun. On the way, tochu de. Next we have famous, yume. And of course that na in brackets tells us it's a na adjective. There it is in hiragana, yume. Now if it's a na adjective, of course, if there were to be a noun following, you'd have to include the na. But if it were on its own, for example, yume, then des, you wouldn't use the na. Here's another one, pretty, kirei. That's often used for scenery or keshiki. From a certain place or time, that time or place, kara, until or as far as a place or time, that's that place or time, made. And that's your vocab for page 31.